Hey, just checking in. We are just checking to make sure you guys are hanging out. We're going to start the stream soon. Making sure you guys can hear me, as I always do. Okay, there we go. So I know you guys can hear me, so that's positive. And I'm going to let a few more people join here as I kind of get some things going. I want to talk to you guys about a few of the things that are happening here over the next few hours. We'll catch you in between football games. I know one of them is going into overtime. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going on here. And as I pop this on here, get a few things here in play. First and foremost, let's talk about what's happening here at this moment as we've got, some light rain, nothing too crazy. And just as I continue to kind of give you an idea of what's happening, I'm watching all your comments coming in on Facebook. I'm going to kind of run through this. If you're just kind of first and following the stream, I'm going to talk to you for a little bit about what's happening over the next 36 hours, but I'm going to follow your comments on Facebook, so I'll look at them, but I'll probably get to them at the end. So just kind of try to answer some of your questions. I'm going to try to answer as many of them as I can and what's going on from top to bottom. And we'll start off with what's happening here overnight. First off, we've got, some rain that's settling in. As I put this in the full screen, I want to show you what's happening with this rain. Not a lot coming in here at the moment. It was pretty dry, but watch this wall of rain, and that's what I want to settle in and talk to. It's starting to settle in Rolla, Steelville, Sullivan, and this is a wide area of rain that goes all the way back to Branson and really, for the most part, southern Missouri, right? So that's what's settling in for us here in the overnight hours. This is not severe. There's nothing that's severe here, but expect that if you have not cleaned out your gutters, taken care of all the other stuff that's going on, we're going to be dealing with some pretty steady rain into the overnight hours as a result of this and then more behind it. So when I see you again after these football games, it's still going to be raining very hard. But that's part of one of the reasons tomorrow and Tuesday, or part of Tuesday at least, are weather impact alert days. I think a lot of this is going to be the rain is a big deal for us here. So let's talk about what some of this is as I just kind of scan through some of this rain. Look off to our southwest. I mean, we have significant areas where we have multiple tornado warnings, one confirmed tornado. This is in Oklahoma. This is where the ripe area for severe weather is for tonight, for tomorrow, but it is all part of the same system, which is going to impact us, which is why we have the second half of our weather impact alert. So as we go throughout the next several hours, like I said, we're going to focus on a couple of things. Rain settling in here as I show you what's happening. There's that wall of rain that I just mentioned. As I put this on a full screen for you again, you can see that wall of rain settles in by 9 or 10 o'clock, second half of the football game. It's still raining when we see you. It's hanging around, and we may get a little break, but then I think we see another line of rain that moves through in the overnight hours. And at this point, we may see some 30, 40 mile an hour wind gusts as that rain sticks around for tomorrow morning's commute. And notice there are a couple of things, and I'll slow this down because it didn't really want to slow down for you. Let me get back to where we're starting at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Watch how, let me make sure that I got this settled in. So first and foremost, I'll pause right there because tomorrow morning we're going to be dealing with temps in the 60s. It is going to be awfully mild for this time in the morning. I mean, these are our average highs. They're going to be that way at midnight. We're not going to drop a lot. The only reason we're going to drop is because it is raining. However, the one thing I want to point out is watch how this line of rain that kind of goes from Farmington all the way to Litchfield, watch how this line of rain kind of moves over the same location. And I mean, I'm scanning this thing back and forth from 6:30 to 9 o'clock, and I'll pull myself back on this so I can just point this out. Watch this line here from Farmington all the way to Effingham here, and just as I move this back and forth over the course of a couple of hours, watch how this stuff goes over the same location. Right here, Farmington all the way to Litchfield. It's moving over the same location basically from Farmington to Effingham, 9, 10 o'clock. Look at 11, it's still raining. Look at 12, it's still raining. It's still raining by 1 o'clock, and I'm not sure that it will look exactly like that or be over exactly Litchfield, Effingham, or Farmington, but somewhere in the region, we're going to see this entire area. We're going to be picking up some sort of wide area of rain over the same location. And I think that is the first part and the reason for our weather impact alert, because we have some pretty significant rain that's kind of settled in. And I think with the expected rainfall, just look at this over the course of the next couple of days. Some of these places in our region will get 1 to 2 inches of rain very easily, but there will easily be a few spots that get 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 inches of rain. So that's why I think is the most significant, probably overlooked factor of the fact that, Yeah, okay. Understandably, it's been incredibly dry. And we can absorb this rain more than we could have, but there will be some area that gets 4, 5, 6 inches of rain. And believe it or not, I don't know that flash flooding is an issue because I think we see breaks in between this rain, but there will be some localized flooding for sure. And that's what I want to focus on in terms of our, let's call it the Monday morning part of our weather impact alert day. We got heavy rain, that's going to continue. It's picking up overnight and it's going to continue, but we'll see the potential for some 30 or 40 mile an hour wind gusts. That's not severe, it's already been windy, but the training of rain, like I said, those isolated 2-3 inch totals tomorrow morning, this is just tomorrow morning, I think are not out of the question. But we will start to see a little bit of a break here at times. So let's talk about tomorrow for our weather impact alert day. Temperatures in the low 70s. I think we could get a break for some of us. But temps are still in the low 70s. There's a pretty good chance for rain all day. It's not going to be a blanketing, soaking rain everywhere the whole time, but there will absolutely be rain around. I think it becomes more scattered by parts of the afternoon. But the second half of things, we talked about that severe threat. Now, the severe threat Monday, this is late Monday, because like I just said, it's raining all day, and this is also November, so we're not talking about, hey, it's sunny outside, we're waiting for our temps to get in the 80s, it's hot, it's humid, that mitigates the severe weather threat. There are other things in play here that I think lead into that severe weather threat with those dynamics, and as we show you, I want to pull this back out and show you where that main severe weather threat is on Monday. I mean, most of it is southwest Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma. These are the areas that the better dynamics are set up for severe weather development. However, notice that we're kind of on the northern edge of that. And the specific counties in this include Gasconade, Warren, most of these spots to the south. But that doesn't mean that these areas in the green here, where we have that marginal risk for severe weather, are not going to see anything. This more has to do anything with the timing of these storms as they develop west to east. Still during the sunlight, even though it may not be warm necessarily, during the leading edge of the favorable dynamics during the daytime, where it hasn't rained all day, that's where I think we're going to see that kind of move from west to east. And that's why we see that fall off from the category 2 of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center to 1. So let's show you what this may look like here, because I'll even reverse this a little bit just so you can see what's going on. Because I think as we're talking to you tomorrow evening, by 6 o'clock, we'll see this line of rain. And much like the other night where we had the leading edge of that storm that moved from west to east and had a little bit of those leading edge of rotation or wind gusts over 60 miles an hour that had that late tornado warning that woke you up at 1 or 2 in the morning, that's not out of the question that we'll see something like that here. And I want to point this out because I think as we scan this hour by hour, I want to point this out. You'll see by 8 or 9 o'clock, watch this still kind of hanging together. Right? There are plenty of these little spots here that still have, we have a couple of these spots where you're still dealing with some pretty good oranges, reds, that leading edge right there by 9 or 10 o'clock. That's where we're still dealing with some of that. And that's where we may see that, watch where the wind gusts here out of the northwest versus that southerly flow. The leading edge of that, we may start to see some little weak areas of rotation, and that's what was prompted the tornado warning earlier. And still by midnight, there are still some spots that may hold on to that as this front pushes through. You'll notice that still hanging around, and I think it's less favorable by 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, but that's something that we have to monitor, I think, at that point. And so while not everybody, this is not some slam dunk, hey, we're going to get tornado warnings at night, I do want to prepare you for this because especially with the daylight getting shorter and now that we're seeing our sunset at 4:30, 4:45, whatever it is now because of the time change, it gets dark quickly, you're well asleep, your body clock's thrown off, and we have a tornado warning in the middle of the night, and you want to pay attention to that because I think you're going to be dealing with that here in the early morning hours of Tuesday in terms of the potential for some stronger storms. However, watch where we get throughout the rest of Tuesday. 8, 9, 10 o'clock, most of this rain is trying to shut off. And I think a lot of it's out of here, but it's still something that we have to keep in mind for people that are out and about voting and as that storm kind of settles out of the area. So the main thing I want to talk about for our second part of this weather impact alert here is this late Monday into early Tuesday thing. And that's what we're going to look at. Late Monday, early Tuesday. Let's start off with our severe weather threat. I think it's 9 o'clock, as early as 9 o'clock from west to east, but it carries through about 2 a.m. that's the 5-hour window that I think if we're going to get maybe a brief spin up tornado on the leading edge of things, that's when we may see it. And then a 40 to 60 mile an hour wind gust isn't out of the question as well. We do have that brief tornado threat, like I mentioned, but if we see it, I think early on, we'll have a good idea between about 9 to midnight if this is going to materialize. It may be very well that for the first 2 to 3 hours of that, we say, hey, this is not setting up pretty well. It's been raining all day. It's been cloudy. The atmosphere is pretty stable. And despite some of those other dynamics, those favorable dynamics that are moving in, you know, we may not have that. We may just get some winds that are gusting between 40 and 60 miles an hour with that brief tornado threat. It may not cause too many issues, but it also may cause enough of an issue where we have those leaves that are kind of hanging around and there's some power outages leading into Election Day. That could cause a few things to be an issue as well. So that's probably our main focus on whether or not that impacts us in that regard. So we'll see how that goes. But if we're going to look at it, it's two separate waves. Like I mentioned, wave number one, and I'll put this on the full screen. Wave number one is going to be flooding, the heavy rain Monday morning, the potential for flooding, 30, 40 mile an hour wind gusts, and the training of rain with isolated 2 to 3 inch totals. It's the second one that provides that severe weather threat. So that's what we're going to be looking at here ahead, late Monday into early Tuesday as part of our weather impact alert day. So I want you to prepare for that here ahead. Like I mentioned, we will continue to keep you posted about this. I've not seen any questions on here. I will post this in our ksdk.com web story about this, and also we will continue to keep you posted on any developments later on this evening between now and the end of the game. But as far as what's going on right now, we're preparing for some heavy rain overnight, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Like I mentioned, we'll post this. This is, of course, on 5+ as well, and we'll have updates for you throughout the rest of the next 36 hours as we monitor this storm's progress.